That should probably be fine. the button, right? Okay. I believe Solace is busy with Helldivers at the moment, so I guess I'll be keeping an eye on chat. It has been a bit since we've seen Zerno as well. Hopefully speaking, they haven't lost out on too much lately. Oh, hey there, Omega. Welcome in. Do hope things are going alright. We're just here rendering out this D&D token, just because I don't think I need it immediately, but I probably should make sure I at least get this done sooner rather than later, just to make sure I have it ready. But how's the night going? Enjoying yourself? You enjoying the Soku tournament, considering, or not tourney, but the Soku event that they posted in the Hisoten Soku chat? They seemed to make it think like it was a pretty big deal. Good to have so the other insect tokens stay out of your web. Exactly, so you understand. I have it up beside you, just start paying attention. Too much stuff going on today. Gotta love it. Welcome to Saturdays where everything is busy. But I get it. I honestly just have Kin up at the moment, because Kin tends to be a good art inspiration, and, you know, I mod there. So, don't quite have it up myself, but I'm hoping that they're doing alright. Especially since it's primarily just Soku, not Soku 2. You're going to be getting into more of the dedicated player base. Which isn't a bad thing. There was a Soku 2 tourney a week or two back. I feel like they may have tagged about that one. I might have missed it. Watched a little of it, but I assume it was just kind of scuffed. I mean, it is Soku 2, to be fair. There's going to be at least a little bit of scuff while you're working on the modded version of a popular fighting game. Bugs me a little because there was the new version that's still in beta and alpha, but that's what they were using. Oh. Well, I mean, yeah, especially if they're using the updated version. That should be the version with like Ron and a couple other new faces in it, yeah. I'll probably have to keep an eye out for that for when they do finally wrap it up and take it out of alpha. I downloaded it, but haven't tried it yet. Well, if you do get a chance to try it, let me know. Ron is one of the characters that I like, so I wouldn't mind trying to figure out how she plays. When they call it a final release, it'll be worth exploring. Yeah. Just so that way they actually nail down everything and compatibility issues and all that. Did they actually have like a full list of the characters they're adding into the new mod? Because I've honestly not checked their Discord fully yet, but I know you mentioned before that Ron was a part of it. That, and I don't want to go through learning stuff that's just going to be changed in a bug fix month later. Yeah, exactly. As far as I know, it's just Ron? Seems a little short-sighted. You could have added Shen. That way you've got all three with the Yukari household in there. Others are mentioned, but I think not implemented. Hmm. Okay. I guess we'll have to see when they can actually get everybody implemented then. Although that'll probably be decently far down the list in terms of dev cycles for it. Yeah, get every Toho character ever invented in there. Character select screen will explode. Yeah, that'll be a little bit crazy if they just coat the entire screen eventually. Not completely beyond the realm of possibility, though. There are crazy enough dedicated fans out there that it could happen. Gotta be something like 300. I'm not sure if we're quite that far in yet, but it is definitely at least in the triple digits now. Because we've got, what, 19 games so far. If we were actually looking back at the Windows 98 level characters, we have like Reimu, Marissa, Alice, Mima, Yuka. I don't remember all the PC98 characters, but I'm pretty sure there's at least 7 more. So there's already about 12 there. And then we get into the newer Windows reboots with Reimu, Marissa again, with the Scarlet Devil crew being a total of Milia, Scarlet, Mailing, Sakuya, Kawakuma, Patchouli, Chierno, Diase, Rumia. So about 9 characters just from SDF. I feel like it's at least over 100 now. And if not, we're at least closer to like 80. I don't feel like checking the wiki right now, though. Guess it does also depend if you actually count the duplicate characters between 98 and the Windows era. Because some characters are the same-ish, like Yuka. Yuka's technically supposed to be cute and adorable, but most people just like drawing her as mommy. Brush smaller for here. Actually, the shine should probably point towards more where she's looking. Oh, hi, Isa. Welcome in. Thank you for the box droppage. How goes things, by the way? You feeling any better? Second time in a row, I get some better on dice. Yeah, I probably should look into it to see if there's anything more I can actually add to the pool. I feel like it's slightly limited. Was it at least a different dice? Because I feel like you got the D4 last time at least. It was the blue one. I didn't see how many sides it had. Blue I think is 12. How extra are we feeling today? Hey, the Jasper. Welcome in. Do hope the evening's running alright for you. We're just working on a D&D token at the moment. But how are things on your side? I'm debating on turning this grind into content. I mean, if you want to make coffee on stream, no one's gonna stop you. Should probably do skin. Okay, that's fine. Body shade. Also, it won't be super apparent just because I'm drawing like the zoomed in token and such, but this is a Drider character I'm working on at the moment. Gathering lots of stuff to make stuff for a friend's house in 14. Gotcha. Yeah, getting the housing grind going is a bit of a chore, at least when it comes down to 14. I know I've been kind of slowly working on make a Lalafell for every class kind of self-imposed challenge. And I've gotten a few of them at least up to level 70 or 80, but I do want to keep going on that. I could actually just show that after we're done with rendering this token out, to be honest with you. Just to share how progress on that's going. I'm trying to think, actually. Where did I leave that off? I think I was last working on a Scholar Lalafell. Trying not to impersonate another Scholar Lalafell that has gotten popular online lately for his dedication to perfecting the achievement system in 14, which I can assure you I will never do because I don't feel like spending 6 years on a project. Spider is just that dedicated, and I'm not faulting the guy, but damn, I don't think anyone has the patience for that. Yeah, Spider's main character appears to be a scholar. That's at least what he does most of his active combat in, so I'd assume that's his main class. I follow him, but I only watch for the Mad Because Small. Yeah, I think he's more so moved on to the achievement hunting side of it, which is the part I've been watching more, to be honest. But the Mad Because Small definitely got a good boost for him, so Yeah, that's just a small project of making a potato for every class. Technically speaking, the ones who are in proper gear for roleplay variety at least, uh, let's see, Reaper, Ninja, Warrior, Black Mage, Dark Knight. Those are at least the ones that are in good glamour right now. But I'm also working on Bard Scholar, and I think there's another one. We can double check. I might not be that far ahead yet. Good content, just not my cup of tea exactly. Uh, at the very least, Jasper, what will end up happening is grinding in Final Fantasy makes for better just chatting compared to anything else, because there's not much you can actively talk about. So if you're going to go that route, you very much need to keep in mind that's basically what you're going to have to turn your stream into for content-wise. And what exactly would make you hate yourself for your birthday? Color brush? The Hot Ones challenge? Hmm. Yeah, Hot Ones challenge would certainly be a good reason to not like yourself. I feel like that's more something that should be earned from a chatter's perspective and not just something you throw out there, to be completely honest. I like the taste of most of them, so it's a win for me overall. Well, I mean, if you like it, I can't really stop you. It is generally what you'd want, at least when it comes down to food you're eating. You know what I should do? I can put all these on the same layer, but I don't have to have them all selected at the same time. I know that I am a decent fan of spicy foods myself, but it has been a while since I've ever, or that I have had anything actively spicy, so it's entirely possible my spice tolerance has gone down. A little more. That's just her skin tone, so it's not really showing much. That should probably be fine. For the face, at least. Do a little bit on the hands and the ears. I guess I should probably try and plan something for my birthday, shouldn't I? Although my birthday's on a Sunday this year, isn't it? Oh. Whoops, I didn't do my Duolingo lesson today. You know what? Slight intermission for me to do this. Let's see, avec Estelle should be, who are you with? Who is she? Who's she with? Oops. Who won't be here in time? The hot sauce or Jim in there? This place is dangerous. They shouldn't be rude. Celui est dangereux. C'est le dangereux. It's a dangerous place. Eh, that's a shame. Never fun when delivery just doesn't work out for you, to be honest. Nous sommes mariés et nous avons nous sommes mariés et nous avons un bébé. Yeah, okay. Do vous dessiner? It should be, do you want to draw? Travailles-tu aussi cette semaine? You work 6 times a week? Well, I don't actually remember what the word I need for this is. Travailles-tu aussi 6 jours cette semaine? Yeah, okay. Les musées de chocolat est ici. Je dois visiter celui. Celui. The chocolate museum is here. I have to visit this place. Interesting sentence. Thanks, Duolingo. À minuit, moi, je did lidom mali? Lidomo li? I don't actually remember what sleep is. Door, sleep, okay. With whom is just a Vic. Vicky. At your place, which is chez toi. I am in front of your house, which should be je suis devant ta maison. Devant ta maison, sorry. Devant ta maison. And it's dangerous is c'est dangereux. Le lieu est dangereux. This place is dangerous. Then whom is she with as the correction. And amène-lui, moi, je dois dormir. Yeah, I gotta remember that sleeping is dor. Some words in French are a lot longer than they should be compared to the English variant. Some words are very short. Cool. 300-day streak. I'll see if I can keep that going. Okay. Then we do our usual line bullshit. Oh, right. Silly me forgetting the chin. Okay. And we can probably do a little more just on the knuckles because those are a little too dark. Would I want to do the mouth that color? Probably. It's supposed to imply that she has lips, not radioactive teeth. Big. After doing my re-research the other night, I have come to the realization that driders apparently in this homebrew that I'm using for building the drider all have poisonous bite, so she does kind of need fangs too. Not really something I could avoid this time, that's just a fact. Okay. That'll work on you. Have you been Jude the dude? Uh, Mixed, I suppose. I did get a new desk, so today's been a little bit of a workout session, if only because I've needed to build the new desk, disassemble the old desk, and then carry all the remnants of the old desk to the trash. Oi. So that definitely got the blood pumping. Well, metaphorical blood, obviously, but got me doing stuff, which is good. I think overall, though, I just need to work on stuff. Need to stop kicking myself while I'm down. Because I know that I can do good things. I just gotta stop letting my mind think that I can't do them. And other than that, just kind of coasting. Work has gotten busier, life gets busier. Everything costs money, so gotta work. The usual, I'd say. Once we can tear down this capitalist society, that'll probably be for the best. But we're not quite there just yet. It'll take a bit, unfortunately. You gotta remember that this collar is meant to be fairly puffy, so... Gotta have stuff. Everything's been running alright so far on your side, Jasper? Well, this song pops up a lot. Not that that's a bad thing, mind you. Might need to make some of the lines a little harder, just for the sake of legibility. Because for all intents and purposes, this is half meant to be a token for D&D, but would end up being more of a... I think color that in, inline it already. Oh no, there's black lines all around that. Okay. Never mind, I'm dumb. Okay. Not that. I need to get the lines. Okay, let's do those little gold cuffs. Nope, too big. Still too big. Now the fun part, because that's going to need some lines. Actually, that works. Yeah. Okay, next can be the sleeves. These won't need too much to them, but then the lines kind of need to be similar. No. Also would help if I got rid of that. Okay. Now we do... I didn't connect those lines, huh? Is that a problem? Yes. Yes, it is. Quick little bit of barbershop. There we go. That's a little better. here. Only been going for an hour. Well, this was just the D&D token, so rendering was going to be a little bit quicker with how small it is. That's fine. Just get this in here for now, and we'll modify it as we need. That might actually be about done. Oh, hey there, Dewey. Well, come in. Do hope you and the grocery store have had a lovely evening so far. To anyone who does not know me by chance, my name is Jude, your judicially utility droid Mark III, here to provide you with a relatively comfy time while we're getting some stuff done. But how are things on your side, Dewey? How did you enjoy living as a chef? And welcome in, Sirio. Hopefully the evening's running well. Stressful chef life. I mean, sounds accurate. Anything fun about the game, or is it just what you would generally expect? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so far at least. We're having a good time. We're just rendering out one of the D&D tokens for one of my games that it's coming up, which this character is going to be a bit of a bitch to actually do the full render on, mind you, but it could be a little complex to get a full body from someone else on this one, I'd say. Like, trust me, I would love to this time, but this is kind of what I'm going to have to hash out myself. Yeah, exactly. I got a chance to do a significant amount more homebrew than normal, so I get to play with a writer this time. Because fuck it. Yeah, I'm not sure if or when I will actually render this, but I at least have a full body for when I need to show off what the T-posing spider looks like. But we've also got the token I need to do, but I wanted to render that out at least. Wasn't sure what else I really needed to do with this, to be completely honest with you. I think I said I was going to harden the lines, didn't I? What would happen if I actually got rid of all of that? Might be better if I don't make it black, but just out of curiosity. Gotta go, token's great. Little paw poses, adorbs, take care. Alright, sounds good, Dewey. Thanks again for the wade, and we'll talk with you later. Hey there, Solace. Welcome in. How goes the diving? This is what happens when I use the can. I miss raids. I mean, you're not super late or anything, and I did get the shutout and such out. But you're good. In fact, I'll even do it again.
Okay. I'm gonna put all of these in a folder.
Because that way we get dual to do clips. Yeah, don't worry, you haven't missed too much.
She's such a great
And
OC.
yeah, the token is looking good so far. I don't think there's much else I can really do with it, just because of small form factor.
Sweat.
It's going to be hard to see any details when it's like that. But
Okay.
that probably should be good enough. Was kind of half tempted to do some Final Fantasy after this, actually, just so that way I could work on the Scholar Potato that I'm working on. Or we could potentially design a new Ninja Potato. Because I feel like breaking my hands today, I'm fine with that. And, but 1 second, I do need to make a quick joke to my D&D crew. You guys can't see this, right? Yeah. Oh, oh boy. That's username. Alrighty. Actually, should I change up the token border a little? Because this is technically the one I'm using on the slime. So we start with this. Ooh. That is bad. If I do that and then put all that back on, won't work super well just because it's based on yellows. Oh, we do that, then what is the thing I'm looking for? This? Okay, no, actually, there's a better way of doing the token overall. Let's see here. That part is done by... that. Can I do this on multiple at the same time? No, I can't. We've been learning shit. We can do this better. Oh. Needs to be even softer. Oh. That's better. Cool. That's that character designed and ready for D&D. So we already went through the entire spreadsheet. She is level-based, ready to go for whenever we actually play. She now has a visual. She now has a token. We've kind of gone through her backstory enough to at least understand what she's about, which is good. Yeah, that seems fine to me. Why don't we take a quick little break here, just so that way I can stretch and just get used to my new sitting arrangements, and then why don't we do some Final Fantasy just to relax and pass the time. Yeah, exactly. Just a little bit of extra potato power. Never hurts anyone. Yeah, I'll be back in like 5 minutes or so just to get set up and such. Alrighty, that's a little better. Now, how do we get Final Fantasy XIV show? Because I know we've had that on here before. I've probably messed with some of the windows before. Yeah, why don't we just relax a little bit and do some grinding in here? Although, which one should I work on? Should I work on Geish? Probably, yeah. I gotta get better at doing healing nonsense anyways, so... Oh. Actually, do I still have my old chat blocker on here? I don't think we'll need it much, but whenever you're streaming Final Fantasy XIV, it is just better to actively block the chat window. Let's see here, should just be image. I don't actually have it. What about... Damn, I've actually been getting rid of stuff. Okay. See if I've still got the image on here. I do. We'll just use that. Then I'll just move this down here. So that way I can still see it. Lovely. And don't worry too much about not hearing anything actually in the game. I usually play this muted anyways. So where do I need to go? Right, we're moving on, aren't we? That's alright. Yeah, I guess to explain it a little bit, I've got a self-imposed goal, at the very least, of building one Lalafell for every single job type that there is so far. Which is admittedly a daunting task. It's less daunting than some of the other ones, but maybe not Blue Mage, but everything else will eventually have one tied to it. As of the moment, at least, we've got a Dark Knight and a Warrior built up just fine. We've got a Bard in the works, a Black Mage, a Rogue, and the Reaper. So we're not too far into this just yet. But slowly but surely, I'll get them all built, leveled up in proper looking gear, so that way they don't look bad. What one would usually like to do, at least. Good. But I guess I do have a bit of a love-hate relationship when it does come to 14. Love-hate only in the sense of I like playing it, but I'm aware that I'm doing too much with it and or skipping over the parts that would... Oh, actually, hold on. There's an event, isn't there? There's a Final Fantasy XVI crossover event. Is that still going? Because if that's still going, I still have to do that on, like, everybody. To Wednesday, May the 8th. Yeah, we still got time to do this. Oh, you have to be level 50 to do it. Oh, this is a new one then. Okay. You have to at least be done ARR to actually do this quest. Interesting. Oh, there's a mount tied to it too. It's looking like there is a trial tied to this, so it's probably better if I get that done sooner rather than later. Alrighty, well, I guess we're working on this potato then until we can get to that point, and then we'll do the round robin. Because if it's going to May 8th, I've still got plenty of time to do it, but I gotta get people up to level 50, then I'm gonna have to get this guy up there, and then all of the other classes will get their due at least. Oh yeah, I probably need to get Celine out, or Eos out. Pump. Pump. Yeah. Welcome to Final Fantasy XIV, where everybody is the DPS. Some people just have extra jobs to do because they are being paid overtime. I don't really have to worry too much about healing right now, if only because of the fact that there's healing buff too. With the fairies, at least, they do a good amount of passive healing, so they can kind of deal with the tank while you're dealing with any of the extra stuff. Later, it will obviously matter a bit more, because they won't carry everything, but there's a little bit of work to do. Oh, that does get downgraded. Okay. Now let's see how bad the tank does, because that will very much determine how much I will need to do in terms of focusing on them. Okay, now I got it. And I'm also going to have to keep a lookout for when I can actually change the fairy, because there's a visual difference with you having the option for two different fairies, but it's always good to keep the option open. So, do they know? Okay, yeah, they know. I won't bother then, I'll just keep up. Oh boy. Yeah, the tank is very much just going past everybody, which means I will have to do some active healing. Do I have my fancy stuff? I do have my fancy stuff. We can get just a little bit of extra healing in there. Hey, other bit. Welcome in. I hope the evening's running well for you so far. Yeah, welcome to a little bit of Final Fantasy. We were working on a little bit of art stuff before, but I've got a self-imposed goal of making a roleplay ready potato for every single job class. So I'm working on the Scholar right now. But how are things on your side? Someone run super far ahead? Guess they did. Oh, they're just doing the fire sand stuff. Okay, that's fine. Just getting home from work? Well, welcome back from work. Would you like to have some dinner? Maybe a bath? Or would you want me? That joke does not work with my tone of voice. Pop. I'll take all three and some Arknights. Well, I can definitely help provide them on the Arknights front. Also, Solace, make sure you're actually keeping up with your sanity, by the way. I'm not sure if the Helldivers nonsense may have distracted you. Helldivers nonsense? Oh, is it this corner? Well, that's nice. I should probably keep up with mine too, because I probably got evening energy to burn. It's so nice having a big desk now. I can actually just put stuff in places and still have plenty of room to just wander my hands around. Oh, it's still here. Okay. There we go. And then I don't need any of this because this potato is level 33 technically. Still won't let me equip them because they're still only +1s, but oh well. Yeah, I think it'll be a relatively good use of the time I've got in between now and Dawn Trail for this. Just because having a relatively large cast of units to work through tends to at least eat your time up when events pop up, like the 16 event, which I honestly forgot about, but I'm glad we have a pretty long period of time to work on it. I'll probably do it first on this character, just so that way I can keep focused on it. And then once I get the full event done on this guy, I'll work on all the other potatoes that I have up above level 50 now. And the cat. Because there's always at least got to be a cat, right? I don't think you've been a long-standing Final Fantasy XIV player and not at least had a cat at some point. Yeah, see, exactly. When in doubt, early players and long-standing players have usually had a cat. That's just the way the world works. And that's not going to change anytime soon either. Oh. I do have plenty of Arknight sanity left to do. I didn't log in this morning. I thought I did. You'll have a cat soon in Final Fantasy? You don't have a cat yet? I'm Fantasiaing into a Hrothgar? Oh, okay. That's what you mean. I've never had the normal one. Yeah. Assuming you're going for the Femgar, or you're just gonna stick with the males? Be one beefy motherfucker? Okay, you are going for the Femgar. I'm pretty sure we have at least gotten a look on what the Femgars look like, right? Oh, yeah, they fucked it up. Oh boy, okay. See how well these guys handle AoE. I should probably double check what the Femgars actually look like. Because I probably won't end up making one just because I'm fairly well known as a Lalafell player through and through. So making a Femgar is just kind of outside of my window anyways. But it'll be interesting to see when all the Femgars are running around. It's always weird when races are just gender locked in the first place. I'm just happy we're actually getting a fantasy looking race in the game. I mean, the Hrothgar are a fantasy race. Like, the male Hrothgar are still technically a fantasy race. Can't really discount them just because they're hot. Okay, femme version. That is completely fair. Because outside of the humans with slightly pointy ears and 17 feet tall, the cats. Actually, we're gonna have to go in anyways. And really, even the Aura? Or do they just look like people with stuff glued onto their face? Really just feels like humans and stuff. That's honestly fair. What about Lalafell, though? It's not really human, unless you just count them as children, which is partly some of the reason why Lalafells are not invited to all RP venues, mind you. But it's still untrue. Lalafells are like half of a human. 100% see them as kids. Definitely a hard thing to fight. The gestures are just so childlike that I can't see them as adults. I'm imagining a situation where you have several Lalafell in a trench coat. Oh, yeah, probably. Like, considering Lalafell are just supposed to be the equivalent to gnomes, they're highly intelligent, they're still childish and giddy, but they are technically adults. There we go. Not that I'm trying to advertise that they should, like, always be in 18 plus rated zones or anything, but, like, it'd be nice that they could just be treated like adults and get sent to the fighting ones at least. Like, the gnomes in WoW are the right way to do a short race. Gnomes are very adult-like. Yeah, true. The gnomes tend to look pretty rankly and old anyways. At least the WoW ones. Let's just slay. Yeah. Although it is definitely a little bit harder to get past the quote-unquote child aspect of them, which is a shame. As someone who tends to play dwarves in most games that I get the option for, at least, Lalafell are unfortunately the closest answer we really get to that. Which, you know, sucks, mind you, but what can you really do? I just wish their gestures were more adult-like and not so hard play one myself. Yeah, that's fair. I'd imagine more people would take them seriously if they didn't ask, so teehee lol. Hmm. Thought someone said something in that chat. Oh. I guess in that sense, it's probably just a little bit funky then that the main ruler of Ul'dah is just a Lalafellan princess then. Actually, is she a princess or is she a queen? I think she's a princess. I should probably do my job quest, but my gear is still woefully underbaked for this. Uh, Limzalosa, one of the busiest places on most servers. You're rarely ever not going to find a crowd as long as the server itself is not completely empty. Although I think on Diablos, I think Ul'dah might be busier. There are some servers that kind of treat Ul'dah as the main town, which isn't the worst thing in the world, mind you, but can't wait to leave the bunny ears, though, become a furry all over. That is generally one of the better points when you can actually just avoid the half furry and go all the way down to the bottom tier. Explore the floating city of Nim. Can I even go there? I think I can just go there. Because I imagine when the Femgars pop up, it'll probably end up being that we'll see a very large influx of people playing as Femgars for, I'd say, a month or so. And then we'll start to see more of the balance out again. But there will still be a good amount of Femgars when all's said and done. And going from bum to femhoth will be fine because I'm already barely using any hats. Well, there you go. Yeah, that is something they still need to work through, isn't it? Just the fact that where the bunnies and the cats can't really wear hats, which is a bit of a shame. Let's see here. What is tied to my thing? Oh, that's what it's doing. Okay. Uh, I do wonder. Or I guess I'll just wonder if I ever actually run into anyone else who's actually playing Femgar, though. Because I'll at least know you who is playing one, but most of the groups I've been in have almost half disbanded, so it's not as if I'm in super huge contact with anyone else right now. I really just want one hat to work on them, the post-Moogle hat from the mail quest line. Admittedly, yeah, that'd be a pretty good one. Aren't there a couple hats that are similar to that, though? Back. Can I even do damage to this? Oh, no, I can hold up. It still doesn't work on the buns. I'd almost half wonder if they've forgotten about it, to be honest with you. Because it's not a required quest or anything. It is just a side quest to give you a hat. Okay, no, it can't be interrupted. But it'll be curious, because weren't they kind of working towards making the hats work on the male Hrothgar before? Yeah, but it looks good on Blue Mage Glams. Oh, yeah, definitely. Blue Mage just kind of has to stick to its color lane, man. That's kind of their job. Blue Mage is also just a weird class in general. It's very good for just fucking around on an RP character because the wide variety of skills they have access to makes emoting so much more fun. Ah, fine, it's up there. They've been working on hats and hairs for Buns and Hroths, along with ungendering gear. Ah, okay. Not that one. I need to get to that. Oh, that's fine. Ah, right, that's how I get there. That's like every 3 to 4 patches. Maybe once Dawn Trail actually comes out, there may be a little bit more work done on it. And over there. But yeah, it does seem like it's taking them a while to actually just readjust how the hats work and make it work on the buns and Hroth. I guess once they do have, because they got the male buns out already, obviously, but once they get Femgar out, they'll have more reason to kind of go back to it and just make it all work. So that'll be handy for those who are actually sticking with the Hrothgar and Viera, I'm pretty sure are the bunnies' names. No? No? Okay. Although I am going to have to get past you. Silly guy. It is sad that Fremroth might be the last added. Sad conceptually, but yeah, it'd be nice if we got more races to go along with the game. But as most of the coding generation knows, 14 is kind of built on spaghetti, so it's not the easiest game to really get stuff added to without just breaking other things. So adding too many races, while it'd be fun, would be a little bit rough on them. Oh, that was actually it. It's why I tend to swap between WoW, Guild Wars, and 14 a lot, because playing different races is my fave. Fair. Especially any game that has orcs. Well, yeah, of course, man. Orcs are just like the epitome of a good time. One through 23. That will be wasted. I guess along that same vein, I've been needing to pay more attention to 40k stuff lately. Or I've wanted to, rather. Just because watching other people's takes on the 40k genre have been nice. Girl ads are disabled for 11 minutes? That's it? There's so much 40k stuff. Yep. And that's not dying down anytime soon. I should probably do this. F. Frick. Okay. Thanks for going there. 40k games are fun. I love Darktide. I think my fave 40k thing is Blood Bowl. Yeah, Blood Bowl should still have a relatively good community built around it. Both the main tabletop game and the online game, since online games are just, easier to access. But Blood Bowl just kind of has a nice popcorn game feel to it, and it's pretty enjoyable overall. Oh no, is the online Blood Bowl scene dying a bit more? Oh no, have I jinxed it slightly? Oh, well, yeah, they fucked up Blood Bowl 3. That's kind of the problem with it. Because they tried adding certain tasks to it that didn't really end super well. They added battle passes to unlock teams. Ooh, that is a gigantic L, guys. There was barely any teams actually in Blood Bowl 3 as is. You didn't really need to shoot yourselves in the foot that hard. So anyone that wants to play Blood Bowl, I should suggest playing 2 since 2 is a complete game. Yeah. It's kind of hard to recommend 3 in the current state that it is, if only because of the fact that A, it had a very bad launch. Like, just completely awful. They've added battle passes for teams, which is already bad enough. And I don't think they've super fixed it past the initial launch, from what I remember. Or if they did, it was very slow to actually get it going. That and they homogenized a bunch of teams, from what I remember. Because there wasn't like the 4 generations of elves, from what I recall. There was just like the United Elf Nation, which covered High, Wood, and I think a third variation of Elf. The Dark Elves just weren't there. Yeah, teams getting grouped was a really bad choice. Like, to have the option, sure, but, like, they got rid of a few of the teams because they just got homogenized with others. Like, the Goblin team was just gone, wasn't it? Goblins just became a part of the Orc team. Dwarves, Halfling, and Humans. God, that's so dumb. Dwarves are all about punching people in the face. Gnomes are about just fucking over the other player. And humans are humans, so they just play a default game of football. Then the Elven United. Then you've got the Chaos faction, which I'm pretty sure just had like the general Chaos groups all bundled together in one. The Orc team was Orcs, Goblins, and something else. And I think the humans didn't have access to their ogres anymore either, did they? Wait. And the Charm Blood Bowl is having a full team of halflings and hoping your cooking buffs push your little guys to a win. Yep. Should probably do the feisty chocobo first. Because I don't have the bag yet, do I? Yeah, I need the chocobo bag. And then if I'm remembering Blood Bowl 2 enough, gnomes, or halflings at least, have the fun little cooking buff game. Goblins were very much about fucking over the other team because you just had a bunch of illegal units that would get kicked out of the game as soon as they failed, like a charisma check, basically. I always use Wood Elf teams, long throws, and hope they catch. So you were trying to play the Elven play the game normally team, is what you're saying. I didn't play too much of Blood Bowl myself. I mostly just followed other people, but I do own them. Realistically, it was one of the games I wanted to practice, but only so much one can do. Yeah, because if one elf got attacked, they were basically gone. Yeah. The wood elves at least, were very much about running away from their problems. Wood elves were running away from problems. The dark elf team was very much just a team about killing the other team and playing a decent game. Because, of course, elves are dexterous. The high elf team had more armor because they were rich, but they also played a pretty traditional game of football. Humans were kind of more of a slightly bashy team because humans were just slightly stronger and they had the ogre. And then, yeah, the vampires. The vampire team was such a cracked idea. Because your team wasn't full of vampires. You had a bunch of thralls and maybe like 2 or 3 vampires. And those 2 or 3 vampires were like star players on your squad. And then the thralls were just kind of there to back them up and be feed bags for them. I hated dwarves so much. All had blocked. Yeah. And impossible to knock down. Yep. That's kind of why I liked dwarves for Blood Bowl and why I wanted to learn them. They didn't play the best game, but they could tussle if you wanted them to tussle. I think Sucker needs to go there. There was also the death mission or the death roll machine that was the equivalency of a road roller with spikes on it that was just brought to a football game. So that obviously would be a unit that can't last more than like a singular round in a game without just being kicked off the field. But yeah, the doors were functionally just playing rugby, if anything, let's be real. Because they couldn't throw very far. They were just pushing people down, and they were trying to punch people in the face. Or knees as equivalent. One of my fave things to do is targeting a player enough to push them out into the crowd and see the crowd kick their butts. Yeah, there were a couple teams that were kind of half designed for that because they would generally be good enough at fighting to push people around a lot or just push them multiple spaces. And then you just push them into the crowd and knock them out until the next play. And the crowd can be brutal sometimes. The crowd occasionally does just kill players. It always at least knocks them out, but the crowd can actively kill people. Yeah, Skaven. Those little rat bastards that are just running around the field dodging everything. I actually have the official Blood Bowl set of dice for the Skaven team. That's how much I liked the Skaven conceptually. That and it was just a bunch of rats just fucking around on the field. They didn't know what they were doing, they're rats. And then there was just the rat ogre. The rat ogre was always just such a funny concept. You got all these little guys scurrying around the field, and you just got this one roided out rat just punching people in the face. If I remember right, the Skaven could also take mutations, couldn't they? Like chaos mutations? So they could just get tentacles and extra arms and all that stuff that actually let them play the game properly. I believe so, just like the Nurgle. Yeah. Just like the Chaos faction. Oh god, I remember for Blood Bowl 2, one of the more awkward teams that people had trouble with were just the Chaos faction, which were like armored Chaos Nurgle people with the goats that always had horns and were able to run around like nonsense. That's the other one you played, the Amazons? Yeah, the Amazons were a pretty good punch team. They could play a decent game and they could kick ass when they needed to. I'm trying to remember what teams I would have looked at. The Skaven and the Dwarf for sure. There was the team that had the polar bear, which I was curious about, but their stuff relied very heavily on luck. Amazons were newbie friendly just because rerolls and cheap players. Yeah. Because you functionally were just playing with the Amazons. There weren't like a lot of variety to the Amazons. They were just there to punch people and throw the ball and run. They still do it well, but that is basically what they were there for. The polar bear team is the Kislev Circus. Yeah, that was it. The Kislev Circus with the functional, like, Russian-based team. Or Nordic-based team, rather. where it was just a bunch of bearded buff dudes and a bear. Pretty sure they had a weird mechanic to them that made them a little bit player unfriendly to do, but just having the polar bear was fun. I have to go up there? I have to go up there. Hey, nice, got it. If I remember correctly, on the Goblin team, or at least the Orc team, you had the option for trolls, and there was a specific troll-based team that was just ridiculously powerful, but very expensive. Oh, and that's the thing too. Blood Bowl Tool had normal teams and the Union ones where you could mix and match, so you had choice. Yeah. Taking away player choice is very much a good way of pissing off your entire player base. So, since 3 only included the combo teams, that took out a lot of the silliness and the good nature that the game had, and just made it, hey, it's football. Come play your football. You should make a goblin team? You probably should make a goblin team. Goblins are just there for fun, man. They're there to fuck up the other players with their guy on a pogo stick and the one guy with a chainsaw that tends to go away as soon as he hits someone. And, you know, the bomber. I wonder if the goblin trolls work like the halflings treemen can throw players? Yes, the goblin's troll can throw other goblins around the field. That's actually part of your win condition. Because you'd have your troll pick up one of your goblins, chuck them near the end zone, then have your thrower equivalent goblin just toss the ball across the field and let that guy pick it up and just run it to the goal. That's kind of how you have to score as goblin because you don't have any good pushing power. You can attack, but you can't defend yourself as a goblin. Because there's things like the bomber who just throws bombs everywhere but can get his ass kicked by just, you know, being tickled. There's the chainsaw goblin who, you know, is good, but he has a chainsaw. You can't really keep a guy with a chainsaw on the field in a football game for very long. And the goblins in general just tend to have most of the illegal player units, so while cheap for the basic goblins, your expensive guys who actually do stuff are very hard to keep on the field without luck. I wonder, actually. I have Blood Bowl 2 installed right now? I do. Good to know. I need to decide things about your gobbo. Oh yeah, for Mal's game? Yeah, it probably wouldn't hurt if you got going on deciding everything you need to for her. I did my due diligence, like I said. There's a proper Excel sheet, there's now a token, and there's a full body image for her when I need to reference it. Got most of it decided, I'm just torn about looks. Yeah, getting the visual design down tends to be one of the harder ones, I feel. I know on my side it was relatively simple just because I was forcing myself to draw it, so I can only get so much done without just hating myself design-wise. But it's a spider. I'm thinking of long twig-like goblin to get away from the typical curvy goblin look. What, you don't want your goblin to be a thirst trap on Twitter? How bold of you. Listen, my Orph already has that. Yeah, but that's the thing. She's an Orph, not a goblin. Unless you're willing to admit that she is a goblin. There's actually a slightly funny post I had heard the other day where someone was asking if an elf and a dwarf somehow had a child, would they make some awkward looking thing? Or would they just make a human, rather? And rules as written, they apparently make a dwelf, which is just a worse combination of the traits between both dwarves and elves. Which is very much still just a human. Nope, just a short orc. She is in fact a shork. Sir, need a die. Thank you. I hate rules as written for 5e that I've read. Yeah. Not all rules as written are very fun, but the select few that, you know, are pretty decent are at least nice to follow. I think one of the ones I'm just perfectly comfortable with hand waving is the fact that money has weight to it. Like, I understand that money would have weight to it, considering you're just carrying around a bunch of coins, but it's really annoying to have to think about, oh, hey, I can't carry anything else because my wallet's too fat. What it's like if your character is a child of two different races, you're supposed to just pick one parent's race to be the dominant one. Yeah, because that's how genetics works. Oh, might actually be tempted to just try and make a proper dwell. I get it's for like game balance or ask your DM kind of thing. Yeah. But you'd probably find after a while that most DMs are generally fine with going along with something relatively simple if the idea just makes logical sense. If you do end up finding a DM who only follows rules as written, I would be careful. Because there's a lot of rules in the D&D books that are flawed and just unfun by design. It's annoying how little there are. How little are in 5e books sometimes. Oh, yeah. Because they leave a lot of rulings up to just being vague. Which is, you know, not kosher. Also, I hope I'm not pissing Solace off by accident. I always get a little bit scared talking about D&D because I'm never sure what his opinions on this stuff are. So let me know if I'm saying anything blasphemous, Solace. I need to know. We've only played Baldur's Gate. I mean, no, your opinions aren't irrelevant. I would at least like to know them. So you get Charm Person cast on you. So you get Charm Person cast on you. On your turn, you can cast Charm Person on yourself, and it cancels the enemy charm. Oh dear. Oh wait, I'm a healer. I should actually be getting dungeon queues pretty quick. Sorry, I'm used to DPS queues. The rules is written, crossbeats don't split traits. They take the form of a half race if one exists, or they take after the mother or father. Yeah. It'd be fun if there were just pure mixes, but that very much is just something you'd have to talk with your GM about. Apparently I need to get used to the keyboard layout. Oh wow. Okay, people have been giving me all the clues I need apparently. That and lineages like the Hexblood or the Dampier, I think it is. I don't actually remember much about the Dampier. Those races have to choose to keep their old race things or get the new ones from the lineage and can't have both, if I remember. Huh. There we go. That's a bit better. I do recall one of the strong race combos is something like Hexblood Akathra or Kakra, because they get flight speed and then get the new Hexblood stuff. Yeah. One of the few races in traditional D&D at least that gets flying, which isn't inherently a bad thing, but... Oh, can you not Esuna that? Huh. I guess I changed it. Alright, fine. AoE healing. I guess they changed that from being a curable. Although that was incredibly helpful to actually teach newbie healers that they had Esuna and they actually needed to use it on stuff. Oh, the little guys you have curable Esuna on. Okay. One day I'll make a Kenku and become the ultimate skill monkey. Kenkus are very good at being skill monkeys. Good. I really need to make my Kenku Warlock again. It's just been a hot minute. And dude kind of deserves the limelight. Although maybe I should make him a warlock rogue. I don't know, I'll have to fiddle with it. They made the new one stupid good at it. Well, I mean, you're not gonna argue or find me arguing about buffs to the bird people. Especially the ones that are just very good at being good little guys. And if I recall, doesn't the new Kenku also not need to mimic voices? Can't they kind of just get away with talking normally? Getting 2 extra skills you're proficient in and then having advantage on any skill they're proficient. They can use per long rest equals 2 pro bonus. Okay. Yeah, new Kenku sounds like it'd be pretty much up my alley then. Just make a good boy who likes stealing things because they're shiny. Forge documentations, then make a deal with the devil because he thinks that the devil would have shinies too. It didn't put whispering on you? God damn it. Okay. They've got enough mitigation up that I can get a couple of these in. I guess after Mal's game, I guess I should probably look into making Steve, shouldn't I? And then try to take a stab at actually making a pure neutral character who just does stuff because he thinks shinies are good. That'd be pretty fun, I think. Would be kind of another intelligence drop character, mind you, but wouldn't be the first time, and certainly won't be the last time that I tend to jump intelligence on people. Kind of the dichotomy. I either dump intelligence or I very much strive for a ton of it. Oh, they're not even going for that. Okay. I guess new meta is just to kill Graphus and not even bother with his tail. I do kind of need those. Not even cutting the tail? Missed opportunity. I know, I know. One of these days we'll actually go for cutting off the tail. Sadly, I did have a book, so it was kind of hard for me to do that. Oh, speaking of, Mal approved the mushroom growing idea? Oh, lovely. I should probably actually confirm with her one thing as well. Because there are two Drider homebrews that I was looking at. Now that I'm going for a full Drider, I'm kind of following that idea more. I do have that coat. But there's one trait I would want to swap with the other Drider type that they have, which is just switching Poisonous Fangs for compound eyes. So instead of just having a biting attack that can poison people, I just have advantage on perception, which makes more sense to me personally. I have to double check one thing I don't understand though, and what's that? You trying to find something specific about the homebrew that you've been working with? I have no clue what DOMT means. Death of Mr. Thompson? Or date of mushroom trapping? I guess it would just require some context. Like, where exactly does DOMT come up? Because O would be of, I would imagine. If this is based on the mushroom idea, then M might be mushroom or something of that requirement. She said she would allow them to function as a sort of DOMT for mushroom effects. Oh, deck of many things. Yeah, deck of many things for your mushroom effects. That's what she's trying to imply. Why didn't I think of that initially? Yeah, the mushrooms would just have a random loot table that you would get. That's it. I have deck of many things PTSD. I've never seen a character survive having it. I mean, you're not wrong, Solace. You're not entirely wrong. The deck of many things is very much a very dangerous item to give to anyone. So, having that as a core part of your character's species, basically, is going to be fun. Of course, now I get a Glasgow clue. Although, it's not entirely a bad idea that you're being limited a little bit by having to deck of many things your mushrooms. I'm excited to pull from the deck you bought. Oh, you have a physical copy of the deck of many things? That's not a bad thing. I know I've got like the base ability cards to work with. Just because I tend to forget about what everything does, so. No, you got a deck of Mushroom Tarot. Oh, very nice. That's nowhere fucking close. Uh, so I've been working on what every card effect should be. And is this tarot deck like a full tarot deck? So all the major arcanas and all the minors as well? Or what kind of a deck are we working on? Oh, full one, okay. Well, yeah, I guess if you've got a full tarot deck, then you've got a lot to work with. You shouldn't be too wanted for choice. And each card actually has a mushroom on it to work with? Oh, okay. Yeah, that should help a little bit. You can put more of a visual representation on things. I can't skip that. Figured while I'm here. Let's see. Need to go speak with Sataru back at the... Yep, back at the Walking Sands. I will say that they've technically cut down on everything you need to do to actually complete ARR. They didn't really cut it down enough, though. There's still a lot to do, and a lot of it is just nonsensey fetch questing. Let's see. I guess in terms of D&D stuff, the next character I'll primarily be working with is that spider that we've been working on before. Gonna be very peppy girl, but very much only focuses on fire stuff. Not sure if I'll make her an actual pyromaniac yet or not. Trait-wise, she definitely will be, but personality-wise, I'm not sure. Can't wait to play the Crazy Gobbo. I feel like that game's just going to be interesting, if only because of the fact that we've got a fairly wide berth of options that can come out. So it's probably not going to be super simple of like two human fighters, a dwarf and an elf. Like we've got full homebrew capabilities. People are gonna go insane. And Mal isn't really holding back on homebrew either, as far as I can tell. She's gonna take everything wrong. Simple instructions are gonna be so misunderstood. Are you dumping intelligence and wisdom on her then? If given the option? What if you roll so well that she's at least competent in both? Wisdom you need for Druid. Okay. True. Int dumping is not necessarily a bad thing. You just have to be a little bit careful that no one int drains you and just instantaneously kills her, but... Actually, did Mal ever actually say if we were doing roll 4, keep 3, or if we're doing point buy? for that game. I don't know if we've actually discussed how we're doing attribute points yet, which is a bit of a problem, but my idea for her is that she will have Feywild Mushroom Smarts, aka her version of Street Smarts. Okay. But she wouldn't be super well versed in society. Don't tell me you started a new character? Yeah. Welcome, Muchow. If I can explain my crazy idea for you, since apparently one new character is a problem, uh, I'm gonna be making one Lalafell for every job because I can. Also because it makes for a relatively decent point for me to just talk over it because I'm nonsensically dragging roughly 20 characters through the campaign. And as a good, like, Hail Mary reminder, don't do this. Final Fantasy XIV is very much a game built around the fact that you only really need one character to do content. I'm only doing this because I want to dress up 20 potatoes in fancy bags. I'm still torn between having her just be a simple goblin that never left the Feywild, or the... Yeah, I guess I probably should watch my language around that word, shouldn't I? By human idea and having shrooms of the Feybringer back. Hmm. Considering what her origins are supposed to be, shouldn't the latter actually be the more appropriate option for you? Because I know at least on my side with Cecilia, she's gonna go down a route where she was just a drow that got kind of kicked down the ladder, as it were. Although I have a feeling it's more so she did something that is in good nature by human standards. Actually, can I just get a chocobo to go there? Kind of what I'm thinking, but it's sad. I mean, what's the problem with sad? You can have a little tragedy and still have a happy being walking around. With the human idea, it fits way better, just because the ranger favorite target could be humans. Yeah. Oh, whoops. There we go. I'm thinking with Cecilia, what I'll end up doing is that she was a drow who probably saved someone from being unalived in the drow camp that she was a part of. So she was brought forth before the tribunal, cursed by Lolth for abandoning her ideals, kicked out of drow society, and just kind of goes to live on the surface. You know, actually not hating her, not her existence exactly, but not necessarily caring about the drow existence and more so being like, oh, okay, so I don't have to be here anymore? Cool. I guess I'll just go up then. It's a sad backstory and I avoid those when possible. Oh, okay. I'm generally fine with a sad backstory, as long as that isn't, like, their personality after it is all said and done, if that makes sense. Because, like, you can have a shitty childhood, but still be raised up. or you have a shitty childhood and you're working on it. Just like Solace's trip to work. He can come home and enjoy some food that is burnt by the grill. After a long days of work where he's fighting dragons and mythical beings to get people's taxes done. It'll probably be her backstory, but if so, she might want to hunt those humans down. Well, I mean, it's definitely a possibility. Getting a good old revenge story out of the way definitely doesn't hurt. And that does give Mal something to fiddle with. That or just hate all humans is the extreme, I'm thinking. I guess it does depend on how you'd want to play her at the end of the day, right? Just because when it comes down to it, if she's just going to be a happy-go-lucky crazy gal, she may just care more about the ones who actually offed her in the first place, and or maybe wants to introduce them to the mushrooms that saved her. In quotations. Oh, right. Because she is going to be a goblin of extremes. She's going to have extreme height envy. So she's going to kick everyone in the knees until they get down on her level. Remember when I had the idea of the mushrooms being the character? So going the parasect route? Yeah, you mentioned that. That would let you play something that's a little bit more alien and not have to worry as much about the whole human hunting thing. Oh, no, that's the wrong way. Thinking a healthy combo is the mushroom talking to and giving the goblin orders, maybe the effective things with the spores. Yeah, that could work. Just to have the goblins still have a personality while they're in there, but the mushroom being functionally the cart driver. Yeah, that could work. Is there anything you need to worry about, though, with that? I don't think so. I guess it's just more of a conceptual thing. But then you are going to have to worry about, like, the mushrooms being burned off, and then her not having the voices in her head anymore. It would be these Fey mushrooms brought her to life, so she owes them, kind of like a Warlock pact. Yeah, that could work. Also, welcome back, Jasper. Hopefully speaking, you enjoyed your VR chat experience. I know that can be a very wide range of things to happen. And that's like saying, I hope you didn't get punched in the face going to Walmart today. To be fair, if you think about it, all deity classes are like warlocks. More or less, yeah. Just clerics and paladins have more of a devotion to them. Druids, I'm not sure if they really count, just because they're more so just nature magic inspired. But warlocks simp for their sugar daddy. Clerics and paladins kind of just have a petri dish that they chuck gold into every now and again to make sure that they can keep their packs active. Druids are interesting me in their different beliefs. Yeah, because when you believe in nature, you can either believe in the mother goddess, you can believe in the nature itself, you can believe in the fact that humans knew how to cultivate it. There's just a lot of options for you when it comes down to the druid faith. Oh, we're going to Little Alamigo already? What are the other class-based systems? Bards just believe in themselves so hard that their magic just happens. Rangers are kind of like druids in a sense. Barbarians believe in their emotions, as you should. Humans exist. Like how spore druids are to see the cycle of death and see a lot in the idea of using death before it returns to the soil. Yeah, true. AKA why they're like necromancers. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it is mushrooms, though. That's why cordyceps are a thing. That's why The Last of Us is a thing. Thought we were friends on 14, then I realized this is a new character. Yep. There's a lot of potatoes that I'm just kind of keeping to... Oh. Oh, right, I have to not be a scholar to actually continue that. But I'm working on a lot of potatoes, so I'm not actively really friending them with others at the moment. One of the Spore Druid abilities is so useless, I think, but cool in the themes. And what one would that be, Bet? Because I definitely know next to nothing about druids. It is not a field of study that I have particularly been interested in. To at least explore myself, rather. Someone dies in the circle of spores around the goblin, they come back as a spore zombie. He uses just the basic zombie stat block and is very weak. I mean, it makes sense at the very least. Because if you're all going to believe in the death, then you should probably make sure you're actually utilizing the death. That's just kind of the idea behind mushrooms. Hello, car. I was just like, I don't recognize this name. Nope. Because Lalafell names are just syllables, and fancy syllables at that, most of the names are not gonna make sense. Especially considering I think this is supposed to be pronounced Geispilish, but jury's out on that, because there's no way a word like this is going to exist in the basic human language anyways. So I can do whatever the fuck I want. So, if we don't have a tank, the goblin will be tanky. Conceptually, it's just weird thinking an undead goblin is going to be our tank, but yeah, I guess it'll depend. Because I'm going Sorklock. I don't really know what anyone else is doing. Because we haven't really come together to discuss what we're doing outside of developing the map for like half of it, and then Mal was doing the rest. Or temp HP per druid level when she wild shapes. That's definitely not too bad. Does she just wild shape into the giant mushroom people from Dark Souls? And that's why she gets such a strength boost and tank boost? The wild shape for a circle of spores is turning into a halo or turning on a halo of spores? That's certainly not a bad thing to do. It's going spore mode equals wild shape. Honey, I'm gonna spore. Those are basically the glasses I'm wearing. I know how to play the basics of this game, don't worry. Speak with Minfilia, back at the Waking Sands. Okay. Everyone I know that's doing D&D stuff is doing it when I either have something else happening or I'm asleep. Yeah. D&D planning tends to be difficult, to put it lightly. So it's going to be hard to find a game unless you can kind of just wrangle people together by their ankles. Which is unfortunate, but a truth. People are busy. Unfortunately, we are humans in the background, so we've got stuff to do. As much as we don't want to have stuff to do. Halo spores make it so people get hurt getting near you and makes it so all melee attacks deal extra necrotic. Huh. Yeah, so you've basically just got the stank cloud going when you wild shape, plus you get temp HP. So yeah, it's pretty good tanking. I guess as a caution, do I have to worry about setting you on fire? Because I'm gonna have like a fire type Eldritch Blast. That's gonna be going around a lot, and I'm gonna be actively burning anything that I set on fire. Or I'm gonna set anything on fire that I hit with fire damage. Is rather what I'm going to be doing. So is that gonna be a problem if you have spores everywhere? Or can we combo them together? So that way you can put spores on things and then I set them on fire. Alright, Jasper. Hopefully speaking, you have a good rest of your night, and thank you for the lurk. I don't think so, but one issue is I can throw my spores, and my thrown spores can hurt my friends. That's certainly going to be a bit of a problem. I'm pretty sure I get a fire cloak pretty quickly. So I'm wondering if my fire armor would essentially cancel out your mushroom spores. Because I'm not sure how mushroom spores are supposed to get through fire. is a very pink cat. They're quite dedicated. Yeah, I think we'll have some potential fun RP opportunities in that game between our two characters. Because with me being a fallen drow and you being a fallen goblin, one completely destroying the other, just in terms of structure and stature, for that matter. But at level 5, when I have both Druid and Ranger, will be funny. An enemy gets 10 feet to me and take 1d4 from spores. Okay. And then with Swarmkeeper, I can make them take another 1d6 or move them 15 feet or move myself 5. Jesus. Sounds a little strong. I guess we'll see how stuff plays out, though. Because if you are actively going to be our functional tank, and at the very least, no one's going to need to stay around you when you're angry. That could be a bit of a problem. If someone gets near the gobbo, they can be eep and hurt and push them far. I mean, yeah, it's not a bad idea. And it helps with how squishy gobbos are, that they'd probably want someone to protect them. Huh. Maybe if we don't have the gaming on Fridays, maybe this is what I can do on Fridays in the meantime. Because Friday is kind of just an empty slot, and this is very much a no-think kind of situation that we could do on Friday night. That way you don't have to hang out by yourself and get insulted by Sonic. You can hang out with me instead, and we can talk about random shit while I'm just flinging potatoes around the universe trying to make them strong. Brains. I mean, you always need brains. They go well with salt. Let's see. Their swarm for Swarmkeeper. I'm thinking will be woodland creatures like squirrels and bunnies infected by the shrooms. Why wouldn't you just have... Well, actually, I guess it depends on what size you can go, but wouldn't things like bugs work better for Swarmkeeper? Considering, like, mosquitoes carry malaria and other pretty nasty diseases, and ticks and flies and such? Or do they have to be, like, small creatures, not tiny? Also, how are you holding up, Solace? It's getting pretty late, and we've had a couple late-night gaming sessions. Storming insects, miniature twig blights, fluttering birds, and playful pixies. I guess you could also do moths, since moths' dust kind of coincides with spores a good bit. Oh, that's what I need to do as well. I need to make a moth wizard at some point. Because either we had the Starbound playthrough, or I keep making Starbound files that are moth people that specifically use magic. I need to make a moth wizard. I need to make a moth so smart that they don't understand that the concept of eating food is just foreign to certain people. She's so book that she can't street. I need to make that kind of moth. I was thinking of using a swarm of spiders, because level 5 Stormkeeper gets web. Certainly not bad. And yeah, moths are pretty cool overall. Certainly don't live for too long, but that's kind of just what happens when you get a race that has trouble eating, to put it lightly. I've got too many characters I need to design. Goblins don't live long, so I feel that. Yeah, that's true. Goblins are tiny, though. So they're kind of like hamsters in a way. Goblins got only 50 years on them, but the Feywild helps with the long living. Yeah, because the Feywild keeps you as a zombie. Gotta love it when them Fey like playing with the idea of life. I know of a hamster who's like a goblin. And what kind of hamster would that be, Solace? Oh, whoops. Too far. True? Yeah, true. Oh, we're actually getting to the last hour of stream, too. I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for a raid target. Oh, hi Maxie. Welcome in. Well, I guess we have a raid target. Although I guess I should vet it just to make sure. Because I do have that up, but... no. Do have it as a thing, but we don't necessarily want to hop on folks who don't vibe very well. Well, they appear to not be there at the moment, so can't really vet anything right now. But they're playing Yakuza 0, so can't be too bad. I know a Mimi thing I wouldn't mind trying to do in the future for D&D is try to make some kind of a turtle. Because they just have an unnecessary level of armor for no good reason. And I would just find that slightly funny. Because I did build a Forge Cleric that the DM was just having trouble hitting because he was at like 23 armor class for pretty early in the game. Yeah, and I mean, who can complain about free mage armor? You just get armor because you have a strong back. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But it works like mage armor. Wearing armor on it doesn't compound on large regular armor. Ah, darn. Dude. Well, I'll have to take a peek just to see what I can do then. If they can't be a turtle wearing plate mail, then maybe there's another thing we can do to buff it up a little. If I remember, turtles can still use a shield. Yeah. That'll be a good comparison point to see just how buff you can make a shield to actually combo. A turtle wielding 2 tower shields that are buffed with magic while having shield cast upon them while tucked into their shell. I'm sure you could get a pretty healthy amount of AC at lower levels with a turtle. Just as long as you plan it out correctly. Forge Cleric and Artificer Infusion. Yeah, that would do it. All good, Solace. As I've mentioned in the past, I did have to understand the typos of a francophone, so I've learned to read through broken text. Can't say I've talked with them lately, though. Friend group kind of fell apart at some point. And I'm not sure if they're actually still... They are still streaming, from what I recall. I don't really want to raid them, just because I don't think we really stream at applicable times anyways, but it's also just personal life stuff that I don't necessarily want to confuse with this. You can only write in broken text. That's not a bad thing, but trust me. That means people have to pay attention more to what you're writing. And they can't just hand wave it because they have to figure out what the fuck you're saying half the time. Silly brass blades. You're not going to be stopping me anytime soon. Hmm. It is technically better. Oh. It doesn't even want me to use it anyways. Dude. I think it'll just be fun when we do get Mal's game going. If only because of the fact that I'd like to see what the other half of the world she's built out for us was. After we already kind of crafted half of it with her. I'm wondering what she does with Biff, if anything. Because he just left such a legacy in our world creation that I'm wondering what she's going to do with the legacy. I've been thinking of running a game myself again. I think you mentioned that either that or your Discord subtext was stating about running an available game. at some point. I think I need to go upstairs. Hey there, Will Red. Did she leave you on red? Oh, fuck, there's still one more. Thought Will Red was the last one. What should I do, I wonder? Because I've done about as much development for Cecilia as I'm going to need for Mal's game. The IRL game that we occasionally play, I don't really have to do any prepping for myself, just because I'm playing a lizardman fisher, because I found that background and I'm running with it. Kinda want to do group games. Yeah, I've been debating about running a game on Sundays or just streaming on Sundays. Kinda want to do group games. Well, I guess it always just depends on what kind of games you're looking to do. There's always going to be people around that will probably want to play games with you, if they've got the available time for it, at least. Still having a hard time finding feeds for Monster Prom? Really? I thought you had a handful of people that were ready to get that going. Either Maxi. Yeah, you did hear Monster Prom. I had to, and then they poofed. Oh, sorry to hear. Never folks when folks flake on a situation. Yeah, that only applies to me. Okay. Ooh. Sorry, game, if you're expecting me to have an AoE attack at level 30. I'm playing a healer. I would say that I would offer up my voice for it if you need one, but I'll admit my schedule's pretty packed as is, so I'm not sure if I'd be able to necessarily show up for much without just axing some of the little content that I am putting out. Oh, I didn't even see you. Dude. That's been the case for most. Lots of people are slowing down for the night by the time I get home. Yeah. That's just the dangers of your work, though. Ow. Well, let's see how far we can push this potato. We did at least get up to level 38, which is good. But we are still doing level 20-ish quests, or we're just breaking into the 30s now. The levels are kinda catching up to us. I find when I do end up rushing through these characters a bit, I usually get into a problem just as I'm hitting Castrum, because there's a bit of a jump in the latter half of ARR, where it goes from like level 45, 47 to 50, before you can get enough experience to actually get to 50 just via the main quest EXP. Pray return to the waking sands. Will never? Well, no, that's a lie. You will eventually stop visiting the waking sands. It does take a healthy minute, though. Well, what else would I need to do D&D-wise? I guess most of what I need to do right now is just character redesigns. Because now that I technically have Cecilia out of the way, I could realistically make a non-D&D outfit for her, but now that we've got the rough idea behind Cecilia out of the way, we could technically work on Zoira. I was wondering if that was going to happen by mistake. Hi there, Ink. Welcome in. Hopefully the night's going well. Admittedly, the title was just there because we were working on art near the beginning of the stream. But how are things going for you, buddy? You enjoying the night so far? Has the Lego been treating you well? For as long as it's been since you may have actually played that? Just waking up? Well, welcome. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning. May it have some coffee, or at least an entertaining enough breakfast to distract you from your lack of caffeine. That was a few months ago? Yeah. It's been very hard for me to actively keep up with people's streams, but I do at least remember I was visiting yours when you were playing Lego. But you've been busy and working on some other stuffs, which is good. Lego games are entertaining, though. They're fun little romps to go through. I don't have any of them, but you generally see people actually playing them. No worries, get patted. I probably should update that pat now that we've got the emote from Jason for the new comp. I'm not gonna walk there. I guess it's not super imperative, though. People can still use my own personally drawn comfy to pat me, just because the angle works a bit better for the pat. Hmm. You know, maybe it wouldn't hurt if I made an emote for my characters, seeing how well I could actually emulate Jason's style, just so that way they don't stick out too much. Oh, yeah. So that's a point that I will stick to for now, just because there's a difference between petting and patting. That is why the head pat specifically has a patting animation on mine instead of just using the... Instead of using the traditional face rubbing that it usually gets. If you're paying for a head pat, you better damn well expect a head pat. There will be no exceptions. Dude, also House 14. Oh, it's a cute emote. Oh, nice. Although confusing, because Iso also got a sombrero earlier. 14's going relatively well. I'm a little bit of a crazy person, and tend to be one of the few who actually roleplays with the Lalafels. So I'm on a slight personal journey, during my off time at least, in between expansions and content and such, to make a potato of every class for now. I've got a few of them that are I have two of them that are caught up on current content, but I'd like to have as many as possible because you can make as many characters as you really want. The rare Lalafell bite. Yeah. I just like playing dwarves in games, and Lalafell is the closest thing I'm getting for a dwarf, so I'm gonna utilize it to the best of my abilities. But it does just give me a chance to play through the early game again, just because that was conceptually fun. Not that it was physically fun, but it's very much my experience of turning my brain off and just getting stuff done. That gives me that minor amount of serotonin that you can just get from getting a head, like a thumbs up and a $5 drop. Which is why I usually do this in my personal time. We're just doing it in the streaming time right now because I didn't want to work on rendering the eco image tonight. I was not prepared for working on that. We did at least get the rendering on our D&D token done, though. That was good. I at least wanted to get that done. There you are. I need you to come over here. Oh, I have a new attacking ability? It's an instant that costs a little bit more mana and is weaker. Okay, so it's a tap, although probably better DPS than just this, but... No, actually, because you still cast this faster than your GDC. Yeah, I guess it's just a way to get a quick pop out in case you need to finish something off or drag it away from someone. I guess that's fine on Scholar. Yeah, I'm not a hardcore raid player or a mythic crafter or anything like that. I'm just a simple freezer with simple dreams, trying to make a bunch of potatoes look pretty in their sacks. Because if you're going to give me the option to have 80 character slots, I may as well take advantage of that. You do like potato? It is very hard not to like potatoes. It's a very versatile ingredient that you can use in most dishes without complicating things too much. I wonder if it would be worth it to make, not me make this, but if someone were to make a potato object to throw in uh, either 3D or 2D versions of the VTubing apps. There we go. Because potatoes would work relatively well when it comes down to bit donations or anything like that. Just a bunch of potatoes being hurled around between all the varieties of potatoes as well. Should I explore that? I'm not sure if I should explore that. It might be an option. Not exactly a farmer, though. So out of context, it won't make too much sense, but for the people who know my unhealthy obsession with Final Fantasy XIV, then it will make sense. Thinking of something slightly silly, but what if I tried to make the summoning potato look like Romelia Scarlet? Because that wouldn't be too hard to do. Her outfit's simple enough that you could get away with everything except for the vampire features. Ooh, actually, what if I made the Dragoon potato look like Romelia? That way she'd have a spear. And that way we could match up to Gungnir relatively easily. And that would let her hop around a lot. That's an idea. It might just be a visual thing primarily, but we could make a blue-haired Opato for the Dragoon. Oh, whoops, I'm hitting it with bio. Gotta remember my own key bindings. There we go. There we go. And it does seem like the victim Maxi sacrificed for the raid has been on their burp screen for a while. So you might be able to sneak a raid in there. Considering we are close to an aetheryte, should we cancel out a little early? Maybe at 1:45. We'll just cancel 15 minutes early to get that raid going. Still getting adjusted to the new desk a little. Oh, actually. Okay, never mind. We can do a Hawk Manor and then call it there. That should probably carry us to the time. Okay, the camera angle didn't like that very much. But thank you, Izo, for burning 10,000 of your points during a dialogue cutscene. That's also a good reminder that I actually have the Porygon 2 set up on my desk now, so technically speaking, he's always watching me and ready for murder. You didn't duck? Sorry, dude, I tried. There's only so much I can do as an actual, like, 3D VTuber. I'm unfortunately not full motion tracked or anything, as much as I would like to be. They failed the deck save. Basically, yeah. I've got a lot allotted into Constitution and Intelligence, but not quite as much in Dexterity. In my defense, when I redeemed that, you were just walking on my side. Oh. Fair enough. Can this bird leave me alone? You are persistent, Jesus. There we go. That's not how that's supposed to work, but good enough. Yeah, I probably shouldn't stand in that even though I'm a healer. Oh, right. Saturdays are not good Arknights days for skill books. Whoops. I guess that's fine. Let's not get that one looking at me. Doot. Doot. There we go. I'm also realizing that it's mildly silly to actually get the stop me from doing anything for a couple seconds redeems out while I'm on a class that has an automatic healing function on it anyways. That seems a little bit cheaty, but it is not done in bad faith, I promise you. I do need to level the healers too. Actually need to level a lot of healers. Show the Lily button to Mune. Mune, huh? Oh, that's in town. Will they actually let me go to town from this area? They should. But how are things going, Izo? Have you had your requisite caffeine for the evening? And are you possibly ready to pass out? Okay. Sorry, neck's a bit kerfuffled today. We're not actually even going to make it to Hawk Manor by the time we hit the quarter 2 point. Gojo anime night. Certainly not a bad thing. I guess since we're technically in Grindia, this is probably the better place for me to stop. Then I can stretch all of my joints and pop everything back into place. Maybe get another casual walk in instead of a walk to carry my desk to a dumpster. Yeah. Gotta make sure to take care of myself. Then we can sneak a raid in when someone's not expecting one. Let's just keep this talk chain going while I'm here, and then we can bail once it asks me to leave. That way I can get rested EXP for tomorrow. And maybe get this potato up to level 40 without any problems. Also, yes, I do kind of set this game up to mostly be controlled by mouse, if given the option. It's just kind of nice when you can use your hand for other things, like checking your phone games, when you're doing something that's a little bit more monotonous. That and auto run is just a very, very helpful button to actually take advantage of in this game. As much as I would like to defend it, Final Fantasy XIV story is very slow. And if you've seen it a lot of times, it is not super easy to just get through it again without some potential bugs that bots exploit to hide in the bottom of the map that don't get banned super quickly, oddly enough. Alrighty, this guy will be the butler of the mansion that we need to go deal with. And he will cry and tell us that everyone in there has turned into an undead creature. And then there's the unlock for Hawk Manor. Oop. Got enough done today, I think. Let's go park our potato back by the Aetheryte then. You technically get rest experience just by being in the town, but it's always nice to just be huddled up with all of the other people in town. Just so that way you can share body warmth in this forest. Yeah. Hopefully speaking, everyone had a lovely evening at the very least. We'll probably just wrap it up here because I can feel a bit of an impulse happening in my back right now, and I very much need to crank that out before anything super bad happens. We'll be back again next Wednesday with presumably our regular collab stuff with Monster Hunter. I believe we just finished the Velkhana stuff, so we kind of need to gather tracks for the Elder Dragon investigation stuff, which I'll probably at least collect the tracks off screen myself, just so that way, from my perspective, we don't need to huddle through that, and that way we can help anyone who necessarily needs it. Because it is very much just go outside and collect footprints. There's not going to be much else to do for it. Oof, okay. Yeah, we're going to need to make sure we can get a compass tattooed on your forehead just to help out with that. Yay, getting lost in the forest. Nothing wrong with getting lost in the forests of Monster Hunter. Yeah, hopefully speaking, everyone can have a lovely rest of your weekend. I'll be back next Wednesday with some Monster Hunter with the boys. Nothing will go wrong whatsoever, I promise. The stream schedule is kind of just up in the air just because I was canceling streams before and felt stressed by canceling them and yada yada yada. I'll probably try and keep a relatively consistent schedule of Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday at the very least, because Fridays are being eaten by the Deep Rock Galactic games that we play in the middle of the night. So I don't think I can physically handle streaming for 4 hours if I bump it up a bit earlier like we do on Wednesdays, then play that. But we'll see. Oh, right. I forget that my pen holder now for the tablet pen's a bit lower, so I gotta be careful about that. Alrighty. Well, enjoy the rest of your night, everybody. I'll be back later, and you can always find me in Discord in the various places that I exist, because I have too much of an active brain to not check for blips and beeps. But I'll catch y'all next Wednesday for some stabbing. So bye-bye. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.